My name is Ashlyn, I am African American, and I am having a natural hair moment. Yep, this is it. This is what it looks like. No wig today. I'm just as uncomfortable with it as you are, probably more so. I had a lot of energy when I wrote this script, and now that I'm sitting in front of the camera, I'm actually really nervous. Does this look acceptable? I don't know. I hope it does, because now it's on the internet and it's part of my brand. It's on brand. Is it on brand? Is it on brand? God, this video, like my life, is a fucking mess. Okay, let's get started. Hey friendship, it's Ashlyn. I talk about books, and I didn't choose the depressed life. The depressed life chose me. So real talk, I make a lot of jokes at the expense of my own insanity. It's a coping mechanism. If I don't laugh about it, I'll spend all my time crying about it, and we just can't with that. Nobody's got time for that. That being said, as easy as it has become to find humor in my situation, mental illness really isn't funny. As a person with a long history of psychiatric problems, I am intimately familiar with how serious these illnesses are. Depression, anxiety, eating disorders, PTSD, whatever your demon may be, it is real, it is serious. And you're a fucking warrior for battling it every day. At this point, you're probably already scrolling through to see where the actual advice begins, but before we get into the real meat of the video, I do want to direct you to the description. If you're struggling or are just really overwhelmed right now, I've got some links to places that can be helpful to you listed down below. Here's a bonus piece of advice before the video even starts. There is no shame in seeking help. If you are capable and need to, please reach out. Anyway, we writers are artists. We are creative people, and for some reason, creative people tend to suffer. We've all heard of the tortured artist stereotype. I could literally go on for hours about how shitty I think that trope is. Regardless, studies have shown that people with creative hobbies and careers tend to report higher instances of mental illness than those without. Go to any writer group, bring up mental health, and you can probably find somebody to bond with over your shared shitty experience of not being able to get out of bed sometimes. A ton of us struggle with it. And a lot of us have managed to find successful careers within the industry in spite of it. How do we do this? Well, as a writer and a person with multiple diagnoses, I've got some tips. One more slight disclaimer before we get started. The advice I'm about to give you is based on my own experience. I tend to trend more towards the low energy depressed side of the spectrum. I think a lot of this will still apply if you're more high energy anxious, but I'm not sure because that's not really something that I've had to deal with too much. That being said, Jenna Moreci has been pretty open about her battle with anxiety, and she made a similar video to this a couple years ago. It's linked down below. So my first piece of advice is this. Be very, very honest with yourself about what you are capable of. All the time. I'm not here to shame you. I'm not here to tell you that your depression-induced brain fog isn't a real or valid reason to skip writing today, because it is. What I am saying is, you need to learn the difference between I am too depressed or anxious to work on this right now and I would just really like to be doing something else. If you've been struggling with this for a while, you know the difference between symptoms of your mental illness and genuine laziness. They are not the same thing, regardless of what your parents told you before you were diagnosed. This is a call-out post, and in this essay, there is a very marked difference between being lazy and having a mental health episode. Your laziness can absolutely be overcome. And it should be. So be honest with yourself about when you're just being lazy and push through it. Not just push through it, eliminate it. I'm gonna give you a harsh reality that I learned in college. When you are mentally ill, you do not have time to be lazy. There will be times when this disease kicks your ass so hard you are completely incapable of doing anything. So if you wanna be successful and you wanna be productive, you need to get as much done in those moments when you have it under control as humanly possible. If you have a word count goal and you're having a good mental health day, exceed it by as much as you can. If you have a deadline that's way off in the distance, but you're feeling all right now, work towards it with as much vigor as you can muster. There's a perception among people who don't suffer from mental illness that people who do are just slothful. But come on, we know that's not true. A lot of us are some of the hardest workers in the world. It takes so much energy to keep moving when you are at war with yourself. And not having the energy to write while you're in the thick of it is understandable. So do as much as you can between battles. Work ahead. Seriously, you'll thank yourself. With that in mind, however, please for the love of God, heed this next piece of advice. It's simple, but probably the most important thing I'm gonna tell you in this video. Take care of yourself. Take care of yourself when you're feeling okay. Tend to yourself in the ways you know help keep you sane. Eat your 3 square meals a day, shower as necessary, brush your teeth, go outside occasionally, And for the love of God, go to bed. Get enough sleep. I know, especially after what I just said, it's really, really tempting to stay up late and work on your book. Don't do that. That's not what I'm advocating for. Your mind and body are not separate entities, people. They are connected, and if you are not taking care of one, the other will suffer. Hey fam, if I suddenly look significantly worse for wear, or the angle is different, or the lighting is different, or something just isn't right, it's because I ran out of room on my phone and had to cut for several hours, and now I'm recording again. This is the struggle of being a budget YouTuber. And I also can't remember where I left off, so we're just gonna start reading from the script and hope we get all the lines in. Anyway, your mind and body are not separate, they are connected. If you are not caring for one, the other will suffer. So go to sleep on time, take your meds as recommended, get enough rest. Keep your body healthy so you have enough energy to keep fighting and to keep writing. Next, I need to point out that burnout is a very real thing and you're putting yourself at a much higher risk if you are not caring for your mind and body. I said work as hard as you can, and I meant it, but you'll notice I said as hard as you can, not as hard as you think you should be doing. Not so hard you're not making time for anything else. All of this is a delicate balancing act. Be honest and real with yourself about both what you are capable of and what your limitations are. If you know you need one night off a week to avoid spiraling, take that night off. Schedule it. Yes, you need to work hard and consistently to make it in this industry, but it should not come at the expense of your mental health. You gotta make time to do things other than write, and there is no shame in that. Everyone has to do it. A moment spent not writing is not necessarily a moment wasted. If you know you need it to keep your mind healthy, take it. By overworking yourself, you're only ensuring you won't have the energy to write later. Find the balance, take a break if you need it, you know what you're capable of, do not overdo it. My fourth tip is set realistic goals for yourself. I am really big on goal setting. I bullet journal my entire fucking life and make very meticulous plans for the things I am trying to work towards. Look at this fucking weekly spread! Suddenly turned into a plan with me video. However, the key to making a good goal is making sure it strikes a nice balance between being properly challenging and being attainable. Once again, I need to talk about word count goals. Longtime watchers, how many fucking videos do I have up? Longtime watchers will know I do not use them. Talked about it in several videos, but here's a quick recap of why. They make me spiral. Word count goals for me have never been based on what I'm actually capable of doing. They're an arbitrary number I assign to myself and say, this is what I should be capable of doing. See the difference? It's me taking something and deciding, if I can't meet this goal, I have not been successful for the day and I am a failure. And like anyone, when I'm having a bad mental health day, I probably won't be able to hit that goal. And the guilt I get from not hitting that goal sends me down one of those oh so wonderful thought spirals that nobody wants to be in. For me, a more realistic writing goal is making sure I get at least 10 solid hours of writing in a week. With everything I have going on in my life right now, that's both challenging and achievable. Doesn't matter what Rita Writes a Lot over there can do or that she can finish a draft faster than me. This is something I can do. It's something that helps me make progress and doesn't send me into a panic attack every time I have to pull out my journal and pen. I've said it before, eyes on your own paper. Quit looking around you and start looking inward. What are you actually capable of? Do that, and do it consistently. As consistently as you can. And, this is important, make adjustments as necessary. If you start to get overwhelmed, allow yourself to do less. If you start to feel like you're not being challenged, try and do a little more. Balancing act. It's all a delicate balancing act. Alternate title for this video, How to Balance Like a Mother. And my fifth and final piece of advice is this. Give yourself grace. One of the hardest things to be, really in general, but especially when you have a mental illness, is kind to yourself. But it is absolutely essential. You can take care of yourself to the best of your ability. You can set goals like a motherfucker. You can find the groove between working hard and resting like it's your motherfucking job. But you will still have bad days. Things are going to get bad. There's nothing you can do about it. It's just part of the struggle. I mentioned before I have several diagnoses. One of them is an eating disorder. For those of you who aren't familiar, a very effective treatment for that kind of diagnosis is something called dialectical behavioral therapy. It's kind of complex, and there are several key components, but one of the main ones is called radical acceptance. Radical acceptance basically means you're no longer fighting reality. You fully and completely accept that this is the situation you're in. Doesn't mean you have to like it, just means you acknowledge that this is what's going on. I spent many, many years fighting my depression. When it flared up, I would spend a lot of time trying to deny that anything was wrong. And instead of accepting that this was my reality, I would beat myself up over the things that I felt like I should be able to do. And I can tell you, first and foremost, trying to fight your way out of an episode doesn't help. So I have learned through many years of therapy, when I feel myself cycling, I just have to accept it. I tell myself, okay, right now I am depressed. I'm depressed and it sucks and I don't want to be, but that's what's happening right now. It will pass like it always does, but for a while things are going to be hard. And then I give myself permission to have a hard time. Bad days are a part of the deal, and if you're having one of those days where brushing your teeth is an accomplishment, beating yourself up over the fact you didn't get your words in isn't going to help anything. You brushed your teeth while your mind was lying to you and telling you you were worthless. That's amazing. You are amazing. And this goes back to accepting your limits. If it's all you can do to stay alive today, put your energy towards that. And I know what you're thinking. Ashlyn, you always say you need to work hard and to stop making excuses in order to be a professional writer. Yes, I am. And you should work hard and stop making excuses. But your mental illness is not an excuse to be lazy. Like I said in point 1, you know the difference. And sending yourself into a panic attack in front of a blank page because you simply have to get your words in, even though you can't think straight and it's taking all your energy to hold your head up, isn't going to get your book written any faster. On the contrary, you're probably prolonging your episode. So just let yourself feel shitty. Let yourself take a break and double down on whatever self-care you can manage. If you're in danger, call a therapist or the suicide hotline that I have listed below, or go to the emergency room. It's awful. I know it is. But you're strong, you've been through it before, and it will pass. And when it does and you come out on the other side, you can turn around and see tip 1 again. For now, be as kind to yourself as you can manage and just focus on breathing. You are working hard enough, you are still a writer, and you are going to be okay. You are a warrior and you've got this. Again, I have resources in the description. Please take care of yourself. That's the biggest thing I want you to take away from this video is take care of yourself. Living with mental illness isn't easy, but it doesn't have to stop you from achieving your dreams. You can do the thing. You can write the book. And I know you will because you are amazing. You are beautiful, you are smart, you are talented, and I believe in you. All right, that got nice and heavy at the end. In the comments below, tell me something that you've achieved in spite of your mental illness. Let's make this a fucking inspiring space. Also, while you're down there, you can sign up for my newsletter to receive a free short story. And make sure you hit that red button because I more or less post new videos every week. Except when I need to take a break for mental health reasons, which is what's been going on lately. That's why my uploads have been inconsistent. I refilled my prescriptions though, so hopefully that'll stop. I really need to just practice what I preach and just pre-record a bunch of videos so my mental health doesn't interfere with my upload schedule. Anyway, if you have meds, go take them with a big glass of water. And that's a wrap, writer friends. I'll see you next week. Bye! I'm wearing a dress. You just can't tell. I'm not naked. I'm wearing a dress. It's just, I'm gonna get flagged. It's fine. It's fine. All right, let's get serious. Let's get serious in 3, 2, 1. Serious Corner with Ashlyn. I still haven't done my intro. Oh God, I look so fucking weird. All right, it's fine. You can see my forehead, and I don't know if I like it. It's a lot of forehead. It's a lot. In any writer group, bring up mental health, and you can probably bond with somebody about your collective inability to get out of bed sometimes. I don't know why I'm smiling. That's not a good thing. What are you doing? Stop! Molly, get down! I've only got 10 minutes left, Molly. Fuck you. Get off. Get down. No. Get down. Get off the counter. Get off the counter. Molly, stop! Oh my God, you are the most useless cat in the world right now. Get down. Get down. Get down. Oh my gosh! No shit. Now I gotta make sure my cat's okay. Are you okay? I've never seen you fall like that before. Are you alright? Oh, come here. Come here. Oh, she's mad at me. Yeah, no. Oh. Molly. Are you okay? thought you'd land on your feet because you're a cat. She deserved it, my boyfriend says. Oh, I can't believe you're that dumb, but I can. So my cat was just on top of the microwave. I got up to get her to get down. I kind of slid her off, expecting she would jump down like a normal cat, and she fucking fell. Like, I've never seen a cat not land on its feet. This cat managed to not land on her feet, the one thing that cats are supposed to do. And now she's mad at me. She's over there sulking. So hopefully she'll leave me alone for the rest of the time I'm filming. What the fuck was I just saying? Okay. Get back into character. Do it. Hey, this is the dumbest cat in the world, Molly Weasley. She managed to land sprawl on her back after slipping off the counter. She's a cat. Cats are good for one thing, and that's landing on their feet. Yeah, she doesn't like being held, but I just wanted to publicly shame her. This is her. This is her. This is Molly Weasley, the dumbest cat in the world. Alright, go. Dumbest fucking cat.